History shows us that most civilizations have coped with a pandemic in the past, and by seeing how they responded and how they were affected, we can learn lessons for how COVID-19 might affect us today. Here are 7 lessons. First of all, militarism tends to stall. When Russia was hit by a plague in the 1770s, it was much harder to conscript people. So without the soldiers, it had to sue for peace over Poland, for which it was fighting at the time. Today we might see a less belligerent attitude from North Korea or Iran. Second, authorities are questioned. When the Black Death struck Europe, many people literally lost their faith in Christianity because it had failed to protect them, and there are many other examples. Today we see democracies and non-democracies alike being questioned about how well they've responded and prepared previously to the pandemic that's hitting us now. Third, superstition and fake news become much more common. In the 19th century, people wore belts made out of wool because they believed it protected them from cholera, and many thought that tuberculosis, a disease of the lungs, was caused by relatives rising from the dead. Today we've seen lots of false information being spread, some of it accidental, some of it deliberate. Fourth, we have a rise in xenophobia and scapegoating associated with many diseases in the past, but not all of them. So for example, HIV and AIDS, which struck in the 1980s, led to a stigmatisation of the communities most affected at the time, but has since led to a resurgence in their rights. We don't yet know how COVID-19 will play out. Fifth, new economic winners and losers. Plagues and pandemics typically destroy the wealth of the richest people in society, but it also affects governments. In Roman times, emperors had to put less silver in their coins to cope with the loss of tax revenue. Again, we don't know yet the full economic impact of COVID-19, other than that it will be severe. 6. Rarely do pandemics strike evenly within a society. When salmonella hit North America in the 1500s, the indigenous people suffered some 80% death rate, whereas the Europeans were barely affected. When the Spanish flu hit, it impacted on those in the middle age groups. We've seen with COVID-19 that elderly people and men are worst affected. And 7th lesson, society reflects a profound shock through new culture. The Black Death gave us the Canterbury Tales and the Decameron, great works of fiction. The London Plague of 1665 led to Pepys' Diaries, which recorded that peculiar turn of events. And there's art and architecture reflected with previous pandemics. But we would expect there to be a delay between the COVID-19 and the full effect on culture, just as there was at least a decade before American cinema caught up with the impact of the Vietnam War. Exactly how COVID-19 will affect us, we don't yet know, but history gives us some good examples.